Put a boot in your ass. It's the American way.
This is the Sean Hannity Show.
All right, thanks, Scott Shannon. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. Toll free, it's 800-941-SEAN if you want to be a part of the program. Now, The Hill yesterday talked about a bill by Arkansas Congressman Tim Griffin, and he's introduced a bill to end congressional pensions. And anyway, he's here to talk about it. Congressman, how are you?
Hey, Sean, how you doing? I just got off a plane and been delayed all day on my way to the Hill.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me.
How great is that when you get delayed on a plane? Isn't that fun?
Well, the plane they put me on also had maintenance issues, so my life.
Yeah, no, you get 3 hours on the runway. Been there, done that, Congressman. I've had enough time on the runway to last a lifetime. Hey, well, first of all, tell me about your bill, and is there going to be any support for it in Congress?
Well, I turned down my pension when I first got to Congress earlier than the year and just recently introduced the EPIC Act. And the point of this is to say that, hey, if you're in Congress now and you're in line to get or you've vested in a congressional pension, then you'll get that pension. But for the next generation of elected officials, members of the House and Senate will not get a pension. And that will not save billions and billions of dollars, and that will not fix our budget process. But what will help fix our budget and our fiscal problems is reforming civil servant federal government pensions. And I don't think that we can get to those unless we do something about our own. Because as soon as we start to touch or reform government employee pensions, the first question is, when are you going to do something about yours? So I thought what we need to do is get rid of ours, take that off the table, show that we're able to lead, and then let's move from talking about millions to billions, and in fact hundreds of billions over the coming decades that we have in what's called mandatory spending in pensions for government workers. And that's the next step.
You and I both know that they're never going to vote themselves benefits away. I just never see that happening.
Well, this will not impact, as I said, if you've been in, let's say you've been in Congress for 10 years and you've got a pension coming.
How long have you been in Congress now?
I've been in Congress 9 months.
All right, so you just got there. You're willing to, so wait, how did you forego your pension? You said, I don't want it?
Yeah, you have to write a letter. You have to write a letter to the chief administrative officer. And again, it doesn't impact people who are currently
right.
working.
No, I understand that, but they're still not going to. I can't see them doing it. But anyway, but I think I get your point. You want to lead by example.
Yeah, I don't think we can ever reform the pensions for government employees unless we deal with ours first. It's that simple. And it's not for me a matter of. It's not a moral deal for me. I wish we could provide everybody pensions. It's just a we can't afford it deal. And I think whether people get on this bill or not is going to depend a lot on, the influence of people like you and all your listeners, and whether they push their members to get on it. If you look back at the debt talks in August, federal pensions were a part of the discussion, but nothing happened. I just don't think we can go there till we deal with our own.
Well, I think it's a good idea, but even before you do that, I don't know if you read Peter Schweizer's book, but, I mean, the fact that insider trading is legal among congressmen and senators, and
right.
All these congressmen and senators go to Washington and they get rich off these IPOs because they have insider information and contacts. I mean, it's just it's despicable how rich they're getting off the people of this country, and the laws that apply to us don't apply to them.
Well, and I'm all for reforming that too. And I think this is good. Look, I think this is an example where good policy is good politics. I think the House could really lead by example here on a number of these fronts and show that we're serious about change. And one more thing I would say, if you look at GM, if you look at Chrysler, if you look at American Airlines, if you look at Greece and a lot of these entities, whether they be government or private sector, that are having fiscal problems, a lot of them relate to defined benefits. They relate to pensions. And we're going to have to reform them now, or we'll end up like Europe, reforming them for people who are already receiving them.
Mm-hmm. No, I think it's a good idea. And, let me ask you a personal question. And I really shouldn't ask it because I don't believe. I mean, are people going to say, well, the problem is, Congressman, you yourself are wealthy. Are you a wealthy guy?
No, I'm not a wealthy guy. My dad's a Baptist minister. My mom's a preschool worker. I have been blessed, but I have worked in government. You may not remember, but you used to know me when I worked in government and worked on campaigns and worked as a prosecutor and what have you. So I'm not a wealthy guy by any stretch of the imagination.
I think it's a great thing that you're doing. Look, any politician that wants to lead by example and say us first, I always like that. And I don't understand why more people don't do that. We've sort of gotten away from any concept of the term public service, that you're serving the public.
Well, just to be clear, we get generous health care benefits, better than most in the private sector. We get generous 401k in the form of a TSP. We get up to a 5% match. That's above the 3% average of the private sector. All I'm saying is take away the pension. Take away the pension. And we can't afford it for congressmen. We can't afford it for the federal employees either, at least for the next generation coming.
Is there anybody you like?
What's that?
Is there anybody you like for president?
Yeah, I have endorsed Romney, and so I think it looks like it's going to be between Romney and Newt. And I'm an old friend of Newt from way back, but I think at the end of the day, Romney is our best chance to win this thing.
All right, but you'll, I assume, get behind whoever wins.
What's that? Well, I'm behind Romney. I want to defeat Barack Obama, and I believe Mitt Romney is the guy to do it.
All right. Well, we appreciate you being with us, Congressman, and I think it's a great example of somebody that's leading by example. A little redundant, but you get my point.